Hello friends, welcome to Commerce Adda. Please subscribe our YouTube channel to get latest notifications about UGC NET updates, PhD notifications, assistant professor and faculty recruitment notifications. We also provide UGC NET Paper 1 and Paper 2 Commerce live video lectures and study material. Please do subscribe our YouTube channel and press the bell icon. Let me introduce myself. I am Rahul Bomanalla. I have qualified NET JRF in Commerce, NET in Management, Maharashtra set and Telangana set. In this particular session, I am going to discuss about teaching aptitude. So these are the concepts I am going to discuss in this chapter. In this particular session, I am going to discuss the first four concepts of this chapter. So what is the need of studying teaching aptitude in UGC NET paper 1? So we are writing the NET exam, and if we get qualified, we will be eligible for assistant professor post, right? So being an assistant professor, we have to know the requirements and what are the characteristics of an assistant professor, of a teacher, and what is the behavior of a learner. So what is meant by teaching? Teaching means in general sharing of knowledge and giving instructions and providing guidance. Aptitude means evaluating the general suitability of a person who has taken the profession. So aptitude will explain evaluation of a person who has taken the profession, whether he is eligible for that profession or not will be explained by the aptitude. So overall concept of teaching aptitude is all about evaluating a person's skills and abilities of a person who want to enter into the teaching profession. So teaching aptitude will evaluate the person's capabilities. What are the capabilities and skills of a person? So who want to enter into the teaching profession? This will be explained by the teaching aptitude. So what is nature of teaching? It is a professional activity. So as we all know, teaching is the only profession that can make all the professions possible. So it is a professional activity. Teaching is a professional activity. It is a social service. So as I said earlier, teaching is the only profession that can be make other professions possible. So it is giving a good citizens to the society. It will be help for the society development, right? So it is a social service also. It is an interactive process. So now I am teaching something to you. If you have any doubts, you will comment in the comment section. So I will respond it. So it will be an interactive process. Without interaction, the teaching session will not be completed fully. So next point is, it is a science as well as an art. It is an art. So if we take an example of Shiva Vodnala sir, his teaching style will be different and my teaching style will be different. I am giving some realistic examples and Shiva sir will be giving some practical examples. So every person will have their own teaching style. So teaching is an art. Teaching is a science. So if you take in a medical college, the professor will teach something about the human body, and after completion of their college life, the student will get an MBBS certificate. After the getting of certificate, he will treat the people in a practical way. What he got the knowledge in theoretical, so he will apply it in the practical also. So it is also a science. And teaching is a dynamic process. Teaching is all about related to the communication, right? So earlier the traditional methods was followed. So classroom teaching. So sir will be there and 50 students will be there. He will teach something, and if the student will get any doubts, they will ask directly, and the teacher will respond to their doubts, right? So now I am teaching something in online. I am sitting in my home, and you will sit somewhere in your home or some other place, and you will watch my classes, and you will comment your doubts. So it is all possible because of the communication development, right? So teaching is all related to the communication. So it is a changing day by day. Teaching will day by day. So it is a dynamic process. It is essentially an intellectual activity. So without, I am teaching aptitude now. So without having any knowledge of teaching aptitude, how can I teach you? So it is an intellectual activity. We should have some knowledge about the topic which we want to teach, right? And teaching is a continuous process. It has different levels of teaching. Teaching has three levels of teaching. We will discuss the levels of teaching in further session. What are the objectives of teaching? To impart the knowledge. So as a teacher, if we have some knowledge, and we will share the same knowledge to the students, right? So in the teaching definition only, will define teaching as sharing of knowledge, right? So first main primary objective of teaching is to impart the knowledge to the students and to develop the practical skills. In schools and colleges will have the practical sessions, right? If we have some for example, if we take a computer subject, we'll get the theory subject and we'll do the practical sessions in the practical labs, right? So teaching will also develop the practical skills of a student to create interest in the study. To create interest in the study, if for example, if I say, explain the teaching aptitude monotonously, you will get bored, right? So if I get some realistic examples, real time examples, and if design any charts and diagrams to you, then you will get an interest in my subject, right? So teaching will also create interest in the study to develop ability of critical and logical thinking. If the student get any theoretical knowledge, he should apply it in the real life and solve his life problems, right? Then only the teaching will develop the critical and logical thinking of a student. Make friendly environment. So this is the main objective of teaching. This is the main objective of teaching. Why? Because if I say something and if I follow the strict rules in the class, then the students will fear to ask the doubts to the teacher, right? So if we make the friendly environment in the classroom, then everybody can ask the doubts with freedom to the teacher, right? So a teacher must make friendly environment in the classroom, then only the teaching session will be very effective. And development of understanding. So earlier, some students will face the difficulty in understanding of a concept. So being a teacher, I should explain the concepts to understand everything what the concept is about, right? Development of attitude. Teaching is not only explains about the concepts and subjects, it should also develop the attitude of a student. In earlier days, in school days, we'll do prayer before the first class, right? Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, like that. So compulsory, it will says that respect your elders, respect your gurus. So teaching will also develop the attitude of showing respect to some others, like elders or co classmates or friends, right? What are the characteristics of a good teacher? Teacher should have enough knowledge about the subject. So if I'm teaching something to you, if I don't have any knowledge and I'm explaining something which I was know, then you can't understand anything, right? It will be irrelevant topic. So teacher should have enough knowledge, then only he can explain what he want to explain to the students, right? So next is qualifications. If the teacher doesn't have any qualification to teach something, for example, if a plus 2 qualified student come to you and I will teach you the UGC net paper, then will you accept? You will laugh at him, right? So without any qualifications, teacher will not be a good teacher to explain something. And teacher must have experience. Teacher should have experience to teach something which will be understand by the learner. Teacher should have good communication skills. If the teacher have good knowledge but he doesn't have good communication skills, then how can he communicate or how can he express the knowledge with students? So teacher should have good communication skills. Teacher must possess effective discipline skills. This is the main concept. Teacher must possess the effective discipline skills. For example, if a teacher scheduled a class at 10 a.m. in the morning and he comes every day at 12 p.m., the students will see it 2 to 3 days. Then they will habituate to come at 12 o'clock, right? So if the teacher himself haven't the discipline skills, then how can a student will follow him? So teacher must possess the effective discipline skills. Teacher should always be a continuous learner. So if I come to you and I will say there is 3 papers in the UGC net exam, so you will laugh at me, sir, are you पागल है क्या? UGC नेट अपडेट हो गया, अभी 3 पेपर्स नहीं है, तू 2 पेपर्स है, बोलते हैं ना? So if I didn't update myself, then how can I teach you the UGC net paper, right? So the teacher should always be a continuous learner, then only he can update himself and he will share the updated knowledge with the students, right? These are the characteristics of a teacher. And next, levels of teaching. Levels of teaching, there are three different levels of teaching. So one is memory level, and next is understanding level, and next is reflective level. So this memory level teaching is also known as thoughtless teaching. I will explain it in further session. Understanding level teaching is also known as thoughtful teaching. Reflective level teaching is known as upper thoughtful teaching. Reflective level teaching is like the BAP of understanding level teaching, right? So understanding level teaching is a beta hai, reflective level teaching is a BAP hai. So let us go into the deep of memory level of teaching. Memory level of teaching. Memory level teaching is propounded by Herbert. So memory level of teaching is propounded by Herbert. So how to remember this name Herbert? So teaching aptitude is explained by the Rahul sir. Teaching aptitude is explained by Rahul sir. Rahul sir has qualified MH set. What? MH set. Rahul sir has qualified MH set. So memory level of teaching is explained by Herbert. MH. Rahul sir has qualified MH, but memory level of teaching is explained by Herbert. So this is the main proponent of the memory level of teaching. It is the initial stage of teaching. So in earlier, if we recall the earlier days of our school days, in primary section in PP1 or PP2, for example, if you understand the initial stage means it is a pre-primary stage. It induces the habit of rote memorization of facts and bytes of information. So here rote memorization means, for example, if we take a PP1 student, we'll all learn that A for apple, right? So now at that time we know A for apple, but now we know A for angel. So if I ask you suddenly what is A for, you will say apple only, right? Why can't you say angel? Because of memorization, rote memorization. At that time you have taught that A for apple only, then only your mind has received that A for apple. So if you know the other meanings, other words for the A, but you will give priority to the apple, right? So that is the uh, basic example for the memory level of teaching. This can be taught in the initial stages of teaching, right? So the teaching learning process is basically a stimulus response process. So here for rote learning, the teacher will conduct drills and repetition. So uh, हमें बचपन में क्या होता, ए फॉर एप्पल, बी फॉर बॉल, सी फॉर कैट. सो वही टीचर बोलते हैं और हमारे से रिपीट कर सकते हैं, राइट? सो ड्रिल्स, they will do the drills and they will give the knowledge to us, and they will give the knowledge to us, and they will expect the response from us, and we'll get the response, right? It enables the learner to retain and also retain and also to reproduce the learned material whenever required. So जब बोलते थे A for apple, B for ball, C for cat, so by doing drills we'll retain the information in our mind and will reproduce it in the exam, right? Whenever required means when the sir will conduct exam, then we will reproduce it. The evaluation system mainly includes oral. So the teacher will give the knowledge and will expect the response from the student, right? And written exams and essay type exam. Good memory includes rapidity in learning, stability of retention, rapidity in recalling, and the ability to bring only desirable contents to the conscious level. So these rote learning will help us to increase our learning speed, and whatever we learned will retain in our mind, and we'll recall or reproduce in the exam when it is required, right? So next level is ULT, that is understanding level of teaching. So before that, understanding level of teaching is propounded by Morrison. Understanding level of teaching is propounded by Morrison. So it is memory plus insight. अभी पहले मैं बोला था ना, अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेवल ऑफ टीचिंग इज बेटा है और रिफ्लेक्टिव लेवल ऑफ टीचिंग इज बाप है. सो he is the brother of memory level of teaching. So it is memory plus insight. So as it goes beyond just memorizing of facts, it focuses on mastery of the subject. We will memorize the facts in this stage and will understand the subject, what we have learned. It makes a student to understand the generalizations, principles and facts. If you cross the pre-primary stage, then primary stage. In primary stages only, there will be some formulas and equations, principles, right? We have to memorize those formulas and we have to understand why the formulas are used, right? It provides more and more opportunities for the students to develop the intellectual behavior. By applying the formulas in to get the solutions, the intellectual behavior of the student will be increased. It provides active role for both the student and the teacher. So in first stage memory level of teaching, it will it will give the active participation of teacher only mainly. But here he will both the student and teacher will be taking active participation in memorizing and reproducing the facts. The evaluation of system mainly includes both essay and objective type questions. If you observed, after pre-primary, after primary section only, we'll have the objective type questions, right? In pre-primary, we don't have objective questions. So evaluation system mainly includes essay and objective type questions in understanding level of teaching. So next is reflective level of teaching. Hunt is the main proponent of reflective level of teaching. I will give a trick to remember Hunt name after explanation of reflective level of teaching. मैं बोला था अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेवल ऑफ टीचिंग इज बेटा होता तो रिफ्लेक्टिव लेवल ऑफ टीचिंग इज बाप है. So it is the highest level of teaching and it includes both ULT and MLT. Reflective level of teaching is mixture of combination of MLT plus understanding level of teaching. It is a problem centric approach of teaching. So it is a problem centric approach of teaching. The students are assumed to adapt to some sort of research to approach to solve the problem. So the student will get the theoretical knowledge and he think on himself and he find the problems which he have found and he will get the answers by doing some research to solve that problem. Classroom environment is to be sufficiently open and independent. In this level of teaching, the teacher should uh, conduct the group discussions and seminars. Then only the student can freely express his opinions and express his experiences in his research, right? So the classroom environment should be open and independent. The learners are motivated and active. Then only if the teacher conducts the group discussions and seminars and science fairs like that, then only the student will get motivated himself and he will participate, he will take the active participation in that session. So uh, I said that I will give a trick to remember Hunt name for reflective level of teaching. I said the definition of reflective level of teaching. In this stage he will he will memorize the facts of and figures of the theory what he has studied and he will understand the concepts. Then he will, I said that he will search for a problem, he will find the problem and he will also do research to find the solution for that problem, right? So he will find, so he will hunt. Find means hunt, right? So reflective level of teaching is all about finding solutions to the problems which he has discovered. So reflective level of teaching is find means hunt, right? Reflective level of teaching is propounded by Hunt. Next, the aim is to develop the reflective power of learners. So what he has learned earlier, it should be reflected by the student. The aim is to develop the reflective power of a student, that so that they can solve the problems of their lives by reasoning, logic and imagination and lead successful and happy lives, right? So whatever the theory knowledge he got, so he has to analyze that data and he should find some problems and he should do research to so find the solutions for that problem. Then only the reflective power of a student will increase and they can solve their problems on their own by applying logic. The students occupy primary place and teachers assume the secondary place. So as I said, in first two stages, teacher will be active, but here teacher will be supportive for the student, right? If the student has raised some problems and do some research, then the teacher will give the guidance to him. So teacher will give guidance when the students required. So teacher occupies the secondary place and the student occupies the primary place. So how it will be evaluated? The reflective understanding level knowledge of the learner. Essay type test is used for evaluation. Attitude and belief and involvement are also evaluated. Attitude, why attitude? Because if a student finds some problems, then other student will find other problems on different topics. So then his attitude and his way of thinking will be analyzed by the reflective level of teaching. This is the session I want to discuss. Thank you.